welcome back to Off the Boulevard. I hope you guys enjoyed your spring break. My name is Alana.
And I'm Becky.
And today we have a jam-packed episode of Off the Boulevard. We're going to start with news from Joseph and Adam, and then we have What's Popping with Matthew and Tamaya.
After that, we'll have sports with Jake and Corey, and then food fight with Kate and Armand. Before we get started, we have some really cool pictures for you guys. Our crew did some really amazing things over spring break, and we want to show you those. What did you do over spring break?
I went to South Padre. As you know, that's the go-to spot for college students, so I had a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Yeah.
What did you do?
I went to Iowa, but where I live. I didn't do anything fun. I just kind of slept, hung out with my friends.
Did you work at all?
I did, yeah. I went back home and I had to work.
Ooh.
Like 4 a.m. It was rough.
Well, at least you got some money. That's always fun.
That's true. That's good for college, yeah. Well, here's some videos of people doing some stuff over spring break.
See if we can find some M&Ms. Oh, look at that!
All right, that looked like a lot of fun. Stay tuned after the break for news.
Have a nice day. You too. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Make someone's day. Pay it forward.
Welcome back. I'm Joseph Kirschbauer,
And I'm Adam Brassel.
and here's the news. The Final Four is just around the corner, and like every other year, there is a classic Cinderella story. The Loyola University Chicago Ramblers are an 11 seed keeping up with the big boys, beating power teams like Tennessee and Kansas State. If you have been keeping up with March Madness, you probably know the Ramblers have a good luck charm, 98-year-old nun Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt, also known as Sister Jean. Sister Jean has been by the Ramblers side over 60 years and was around when the Ramblers won their first title in 1963. Spending that much time as a fan, she knows her basketball. When head coach Porter Moser took over the team, he found a scouting report on his desk completed by Sister Jean, detailing the strengths and weaknesses of each player on the team. Now that's a loyal fan. Let's see if the Ramblers can keep up the fantasy and get the glass slipper as they head to head against Michigan to see who advances to the championship game.
Dan Schneider, the producer behind the hit Nickelodeon shows iCarly, Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, and so many others, has parted ways with the cable channel. The network and Schneider released a joint statement saying, "Since several of Schneider's projects are wrapping up, both sides agreed that this is a natural time for Nickelodeon and Schneider to pursue other opportunities and projects." Schneider began his extensive producing career with the show All That in 1994 and has made stars out of actors Kenan Thompson, Ariana Grande, Miranda Cosgrove, and so many more.
On March 18, 2018, a 49-year-old woman named Eileen Hertzberg was hit and killed by a self-driving Uber car in Arizona. A video of the incident was released by the police shows that Hetzberg was crossing an undesignated crosswalk. The self-driver car nor the driver were able to detect Hetzberg in time. Uber reached a settlement with the family, but the terms of the settlement were not given. The law firm representing Hetzberg's daughter and husband said they will have no further comment on the matter as they considered it resolved. Accidents like this happen all the time, but since it was a self-driven car, the story made national news. Self-driving cars have been around a while, and they have lots of potential to save lives. Driverless cars are not perfect, but if they can be better than human drivers, should they keep testing them? As of right now, Arizona and California have suspended self-driving car testing, but we would see what the future holds in store for driverless cars.
Well, Jayhawk fans, rejoice. Your beloved men's basketball team has once again made the Final Four in this year's NCAA tournament. The Jayhawks beat the Duke Blue Devils 85-81 in an Elite Eight overtime thriller. And since it was the first Final Four since 2012, you can easily guess that fans took to Mass Street to celebrate the victory. Thousands of fans of all ages came together in jubilation. Many stuck around hours after the victory as well. The Lawrence Police Department happily shared that no citations or arrests were made. Tomorrow, the department has announced that parking on Mass Street will not be allowed in anticipation for a hopeful win over Villanova. There will also be numerous watch parties at restaurants and bars across town. The university has also announced that Allen Fieldhouse will be open for fans to view the Final Four matchup against Villanova. Admission is free and parking lots will be available at no charge. Members of the pep band and spirit squad will also be there. Doors will open at 6:30 p.m. That's all for news. Stick around for after the break.
When you shop local in the heart of the city, you support the people that make our community thrive. The money you spend here stays here, in this place we call our home. Lawrence, Kansas, where there's good old-fashioned hometown pride. Eat local, drink local, shop local.
Hey everyone, welcome back to What's Poppin'. I'm your host Matthew and this is Tamaya.
Hey.
So this week we watched Love, Simon. Here's a trailer you guys can go and watch real quick.
Hey, it's Simon!
Have you ever been in love?
I think so.
You get to exhale now, Simon.
This is about to get romantic as F. I'm glad you're here.
I deserve a great love story.
Go big or go home. Hey! That's amazing.
Love, Simon. Rated PG-13.
So, Love, Simon, it was a great movie,
Yeah.
particularly because of some of the cast. So we had Nick Robinson, who was Simon. Then we had Katherine Langford, who was Leah, and Miles Heiser.
And those both were in 13 Reasons Why, so
Yes, they
that's why their
were.
faces look familiar.
Yeah, that's exactly what they look familiar. Then we had,
We had I believe Keenan Lonsdale. He played Bram and he was like one of the black leads, which
Yeah.
is another really big thing.
Yeah.
And then there was Jennifer Garner and Josh Duhamel who played Simon's parents in the movie.
Yeah, so what did you think about, like, the whole...
The casting, I believe, it was really well done. Everyone fit their part and who they were meant to play, like, really well.
Yeah, exactly. I think the same thing. I loved the way that all the actors seemed to kind of mesh together. It wasn't like you were watching some 36-year-old trying to play a 17-year-old.
It seemed like a very natural movie, and
Yeah.
they fit into their age range they were supposed to be.
Exactly.
Which is something you normally don't see.
Exactly.
So overall, this movie, what it is there's a kid who he's in the closet, he's gay, but like no one in the school knows, and
Exactly.
he kind of wants people to know, but on the other hand, it's just like he's so used to the life he has, he's scared to go ahead and come out and find something new.
Yeah.
So it's a whole situation of all that, and there's a lot of drama that happens. But like overall, what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was a beautiful movie. I cried a couple times because it was so cute.
I agree.
I'm not afraid to cry in movies. People that come with me definitely know that. But this was definitely one of those movies that like pulled some of your tears out.
It was hard hitting at a couple moments, but it was really uplifting at some moments too.
And me as like an LGBTQ member, like I really love the fact that like
it's the
there
first
was
it's the
a
first
lot of
major
good
movie by a major studio.
Right, and it was a lot of really good representation.
Yeah, it was so much good representation. We had like our first LGBT lead in a movie, and then we had, like I said, a couple black leads, which like again, that's since Black Panther. It's like it's just now starting to roll, but it's there. So
I think this is a great year for movies,
it's,
and like
it's
especially
been really
like
promising.
hard hitting, like really
Just culturally relevant.
Yeah, culturally relevant movies.
Yeah. The soundtrack. I paid more attention to that because, like, I mean, I knew what the movie was going to be because I read the book, but I really liked what songs they paired with the movie, and it really flowed throughout the movie really well.
Yeah, yeah.
So there were artists such as Troye Sivan, who he's more of a new and upcoming artist, but he had a song called Strawberries and Cigarettes, and that's one I personally love. But then they also had the 1975, but then there were also some throwback artists like Whitney Houston, Jackson 5, and also in Bleachers, which I believe is also a new one.
Okay, yeah, I love the 1975. I think they're great. I also, love the classics, Whitney Houston, Jackson 5. So I love the way that they kind of just meshed in the old with the new.
Yeah, all of the spots where they had the music in, it fit perfectly for the movie.
Exactly.
They adapted it just right.
It was a great flow of things, I think.
So what would you say you took away from this movie?
I think, in big picture, I think I took away the fact that Hollywood is actually starting to acknowledge people.
Finally getting some representation from multiple cultures.
Right, like people who have been existing for forever are finally getting acknowledged and getting the correct acknowledgement. Yeah, we might have been getting acknowledged before, but maybe not in the correct light.
And it's more properly acknowledged and more widely known because, I mean, it was made by Fox Studios.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a big
Right, it wasn't at some
company.
film festival. It was an actual like big movie that came out.
So I mean, like relevant to current day, I really like how this gives something for LGBT individuals to go and look at, and they can be like, I'm not alone. This is something that like actually happens.
Even like younger LGBTQ.
If I had seen this when I wasn't out, this would have helped so much.
Exactly, and that's why this movie is so important.
It just gives someone to like relate to. And I know I was reading stories on Twitter where like some people brought their parents to that movie and kind of like gave that as a way to like kind of like easily like ease their parents into like that before telling them that they were that. And I just think it's nice that there's something there for that. And glad that we finally have something like that there.
Yeah, it definitely starts a conversation for people who don't know how to start that conversation.
And it also like brings up the issues of bullying in the movie and like what dangers it can create and what effects it can have.
Exactly.
I will say though, I was kind of irritated just towards the end of the movie. There were certain things that happened, and Simon's friends did not support him at all through it. And it's kind of like, I mean, I understood the situation, but at the same time, it's just like, the way the situation happened, I wished it would have been more like accepting. And I think it maybe was a little bit farther away from the book adaptation in that, but it still was done well.
I was really shocked that his friends didn't really support him, because I was like, why are you mad all of a sudden?
It wasn't,
like, where are you,
in the situation that happened in the movie, it wasn't in his hands.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
like,
and I was like, so you just gonna get mad at your friend because of something they couldn't control?
Yeah. Overall though, I thought it was a great movie. It brings up a lot of good points, and it's a really good movie to just go watch and see with people.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely recommend you all to go see it. Support LGBTQ movies, support movies in general that are good.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you. It's a great movie. You should definitely watch it.
But next week,
we're
going to be seeing Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. I'm really excited to go see that.
I just saw that again last night.
Huge video game nerd.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
I saw that last night, and again, it is really good.
So we will definitely see next week.
So stay tuned after the break, and we'll get you guys your sports update.
Yeah, bye.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that. Yeah. Here comes the, no. Here comes the, oh. Here comes the, y'all don't really want it like that.
And welcome back to Off the Boulevard. I'm Jacob Cole Kaufman.
And I'm Corey Lewis Minkoff.
And we have a boatload of basketball to talk about.
Do we, though?
KU making the Final Four for the first time since 2012. This was a team that Bill Self called soft at the beginning of the year. And I'll tell you, Corey, they are very far from soft at this point in the season.
So, Jay, it was an incredible game. I think that it wasn't my favorite. It was my favorite game of the entire season, but it was definitely not their best game this entire season because it was a nail-biter to the very finish. Going into overtime, and Malik barely scored a three-pointer before he was able to get 2 free throws and clinch, what was it, a 4-point lead, I think, by the end. So, I mean, the way they were able to shut out Grayson Allen as well was the most impressive part of this, I think, because he was supposed to be their star player of this game. They ended up just destroying them on rebounds, getting 47 versus Duke's 32. Overall, I think it was just an incredible upset. They did just an amazing job. What were your take from this, though?
Yeah, I got to agree with you with Grayson Allen. He completely shut him down. I believe he only had 8 points in the first half, and then the second half he was just nowhere to be seen. And like you said, with the out-rebounding, Duke was the #1 rebounding team in the country, and we were able to out-rebound them by 15, and which was really the key part of this game with Udoka. We were talking a little bit before the broadcast about Udoka and then Devontae, but it was really interesting how with Udoka, Bill Self told him, if you foul out, that's fine, but we need you to take control of this game.
He told him that at halftime.
Yeah.
But I think that is really important too, is that his exact wording saying that we don't care if you foul out, we care if you're playing good defense. And who cares if you don't foul out if you're not playing good defense? Because we need him to be in there getting rebounds, ensuring that they're actually winning the game. And that was why I think they were so far behind in the first half. They weren't far behind, actually in terms of points, but I think just in terms of their play, they were just really suffering. And especially towards the beginning too, we saw Svi miss at least 3 just wide open 3-pointers. That really disappointed me as a whole because when we look at their 2 biggest offensive players, we have Svi Mikhailuk, Devontae Graham. They only shot 11 points in this game, which was only 2 more than Udoka, their only big. I think that that's really frightening, honestly, in that they are very good offensive players, but they're only barely outscoring their big. I think that they really need to be stepping up their threes and just their field goal percentages as a whole if they really want to compete in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, against Villanova, they're the top 3-pointing team, really the top team left in this tournament.
Definitely.
And if KU wants a shot to beat them, we're going to have to see Devontae Graham and Sviatoslav Mikhailuk really step it up from beyond the arc and just as a complete player as a whole. Because as of right now, Vegas has Villanova as a 5-point favorite, and it sounds about right to me. But if Malik Newman plays the way he has been, like 32 points against Duke, he's really making a case for himself to a great NBA prospect. Hopefully I'd like to settle down maybe a little bit so he doesn't go pro. But like we were saying, Sviatoslav Mikhailuk and Devontae Graham are going to have to step it up against Villanova if we want a shot to go to the national championship.
But let's talk about Villanova specifics a little bit more, because I think that this whole Malik, Svi, and Devontae phenomenon, whatever's happening, Malik keeps out shooting them by double digits some of the time, like more than 20 points, it was 32 points in this last game. More than double both of them. And whereas Villanova is 40% for their 3-point average as a whole, they have Spellman, Bridges, and Brunson all shooting better than 40% from the 3, versus Svi and Graham, who are only shooting 11 points a game, maybe getting like 2 or 3 threes a game. It's just, it doesn't really compare offensively, I don't think. I think they need to work like they were earlier in the season, really be distributing these points all around better. They can't just be entirely relying on Malik, because if Malik isn't scoring from beyond the arc like he usually
all it takes is one game.
Then I think that they could really suffer in the long run, and they really need to be up offensively.
And we saw that last year in March Madness with Devontae Graham, even he playing against Purdue out of his mind, and then we ran up against Oregon, and then all it takes is one cold night, and then your run in the tournament's over.
Yeah. But what's more interesting to me than KU Villanova is the upcoming Loyola Michigan game. I am just so psyched for this game. I want to know what your thoughts are on this first. Who is your favorite in this? Because I'm pretty sure I know.
My favorite, I want to personally see Loyola win.
Yeah.
Two of their star players went to Blue Valley Northwest High School. Our good friend Armand's very proud of that back there. And but logistically, I think this is Michigan's game. It's just Michigan is the better team. But Loyola, they're making their case, man. They're this none they got going for them.
See, but I think if people keep saying, I feel like Loyola keeps getting discredited simply because they're an underdog, as if that's like the only reason that they're really winning. And that's apparently not strong enough case to win the tournament as a whole. But when we look at this, let's look at Loyola in terms of the actual numbers. They're hitting 40.3% of their three-pointers. They're 15 nationally. They're the best shooting team left in the Final Four right now, hitting 50.9% of their shots.
40% of their threes.
40% of their threes. I mean, I think that they're competing much better offensively than anyone is really giving them credit for right now. And I think they could really give Michigan a run for their money, since they were 17 for 68 from the three-point range in 3 of the four tournament games prior to the Final Four. Michigan was. If Michigan's not performing offensively like Loyola has in these last few games, granted Loyola's been playing against lower seeds, then I mean they really have a lot more pressure, and they have a lot more likelihood of losing, I think, than anyone else is really looking at. Loyola does have more of a struggle defensively, I think. Michigan is
Michigan, and as well as their turnover per game ratio. Michigan's only allowing 9 turnovers a game. That's really good.
That's first in the nation. But Loyola is also 5th in the nation. So they're equally high up, I think, in terms of the ranks. It's really not that far behind in terms of...
The only thing that Loyola, like how you mentioned, they've been going up against lower seeds. They haven't seen players like Mo Wagner for Michigan, 6'11". He's really going to be tough for Loyola to go up against, I think, in this game.
I suppose, but I think that this game isn't all just about numbers, even though numbers do matter. I think that the mental aspect of this is equally important, and people can kind of shrug it off as something that, like, yeah, we'd like to see a Cinderella story win, but like it just doesn't seem likely if Michigan is the better team statistically and has more likelihood of winning. I think that the mental aspect has way more of a role in this game and winning this game than anyone would like to give it credit for. I think that Michigan has way more to lose by losing this game than Loyola does. Loyola's already made it to the Final Four, the first conference title.
Much like this KU team and really all the other teams in the tournament, Loyola has cemented their legacy in this tournament. All they can do now is to continue it.
But if Michigan were to lose this, I think that they would obviously lose so much more because they're supposed to be winning this game. Whereas Loyola has the advantage mentally because they're the underdogs, and not only is the entire country rooting for them, but they're not supposed to be losing this game. They're not supposed to be winning this game to begin with.
A lot less pressure on their shoulders.
There's considerably less pressure, and especially when we're not talking about professional players. We're talking about 18 and 21-year-old kids.
Now,
they're kids.
Let me tell you this part. So we've talked about KU, we talked about Duke, Nova, and all of them. Now, say KU ends up beating Villanova, who would you rather play? Do you want to see Michigan, or would you like to see Loyola?
I mean, ideally, I would like to play Michigan because I wouldn't feel bad beating Michigan. I think that it would be more pressure for us. We'd be in the same position that Michigan is in right now, and that Michigan is supposed to win this game because they're statistically just the better team. And KU would be in the same position, and KU kind of has a tendency to lose against these lower-ranked teams when they have a lot more to lose. Like, look at OSU this last season. How many games did we lose again? Was it 2 or 3 in the regular season?
2.
2. So we lost both of the games in the regular season. I think that Loyola could very similarly shut us out just mentally by performing the way that they do. They're an incredible offensive team, and KU has a tendency to really kind of choke defensively when they're under pressure. So I would honestly much rather see Michigan in the championship than I would Loyola. But if Loyola were to win the championship also, I think that would just be an incredible story. I think it's something that the entire country wants to see. But I don't know, I'm just incredibly excited. I think this has been the best March Madness that I've seen.
I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah. But in other news, happy Passover. Yeah. Do you have anything else to report?
I hope if you're celebrating the holiday tonight, I hope you find the Afikomen, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday.
Awesome. Well, for Off the Boulevard Sports, I'm Corey Minkoff.
I'm Jacob Cole-Kaufman.
And them's the facts.
Hi, welcome back to Off the Boulevard. I'm Kate.
And I'm Armand.
And this is Food Fight. So for today's special on Food Fight, we're going to be talking about Easter, because obviously Easter is coming up on Sunday.
On Sunday. The most important thing in the weekend. Just kidding. And
looks like Cal, the Easter Bunny, paid us a visit, even though he's not here today.
Yeah, he
still
did.
Brought us some little gifts.
Because the Easter Bunny disappears after he gives the gifts. So we came here. And he's like, what to do? So we left, and now we have our gifts. So we're just going to open them. Kate, what are you planning to do for Easter?
I am actually, it looks like I got some Starburst jelly beans. I always like those.
Yeah, me too.
I can't go home for Easter anymore this year. It's just not feasible for me to really go home from Minnesota. So driving up Friday night or Saturday during the day, coming back Sunday, it just doesn't work. So I'm going to my friend's house for Easter, and we're having a nacho bar. I need to stop eating.
That's good.
I mean, it's only appropriate to have a nacho bar on Easter. What else would you do?
It is, yeah. For Easter, I usually go Easter egg hunting, but because of the Final Four, I don't know if I'm going to go home, but I will still celebrate from Lawrence. Hopefully celebrating happy after the Final Four, but
hopefully.
But
hoping for a happy Easter.
Yes, hoping for a happy Easter.
Let's see what's in this one. Ooh, Peeps.
Oh, a Peep.
Do you like Peeps? I feel like people are very hot and cold with Peeps.
A Peep is kind of like you don't know what to expect when you eat a Peep, and you don't know, like, sometimes you like it and then sometimes you don't.
Sometimes I'm craving it just because I really want a marshmallow, but since it's just covered in sugar, I eat into it and I just...
It's like an indecisive taste. That's why I relate myself to a Peep. I'm kind of indecisive, kind of like a Peep. So you don't ever know if you like it, you don't like it, you know? It's like a good day, bad day.
We'll never know.
Like Peep, it shows up and we just don't know.
You never know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Try another one.
Oh,
see
yeah,
we'll
see
what else Cal brought us.
Oh, more jelly beans.
Really? Is that it? Is that all Cal?
Yeah. Well.
Ooh, gummy bears.
Oh, gummy bears. Wow. Well, those are our Easter plans.
Yeah. So we're going to be putting up a poll on Twitter of your favorite Easter candy. So go check out our Twitter. Make sure to vote.
And before we close, word on the street is it's someone's birthday.
Whose birthday?
Do you know whose birthday it is?
Whose birthday is it?
Is it your birthday?
It's not my birthday.
It's our producer Elsie's birthday.
Happy
Woo!
birthday,
Happy
Elsie.
birthday, Elsie. So she is going to celebrate her Easter with a birthday. So
and hopefully a KU win.
Hopefully a KU win. Yes, KU plays tomorrow
night.
Right before Loyola, whose 2 graduates went to Blue Valley Northwest, along with me.
Ooh.
The 3 Mount Rushmores of Blue Valley Northwest High School in Overland Park, Kansas. So let's go skis. So that's pretty cool. And that's all we have for our show. So
let's beat Nova.
We hope Elsie has a good birthday.
Happy
we
birthday,
hope
Elsie.
the Jayhawks play well and everyone enjoys their Easter weekend. And we will see you guys next week.